All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, giving you commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you to all the new subscribers. We are close to breaking another record of 80 80 subscribers. We're almost there. Thank you guys so much for that. But today, let's get started with a special review, an on this day review from the past of New Year's Resolution 2005. First of all, before we go any further, was it resolution or revolution? What was the name of it? I get all the words mixed up. But let's just call it New Year's Revolution. What the heck? New Year's resolution took, or revolution, should I say? Bear with me if I get the title mixed up. But the New Year's event, like day one, except day nine, took place in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Man, that's a great place to have it. And of course, we opened the show with a tag team match, a world tag team match between Regal and Eugene, being the champions, defending against Christian, back known as Captain Charisma, and his bodyguard, Tyson Tomko, the problem solver. And Eugene had a special needs, um, autistic character. And his character is where he paid homage to some of the wrestlers. And that night he paid homage to the 1980s version of Hulk Hogan. And he had a lot of fun at the expense of Christian Cage, riding his back while spanking him, using the Junkyard Dog's headbutt moves, and of course, not to mention giving him a wedgie at the beginning of the match. But either way, Regal would get the tag in, but he would get isolated by Tyson and Christian Cage. And of course, later on, Eugene would come in to make the save and come in with great momentum. However, his momentum shifted when he delivered a drop kick to Tomko. Excuse me. That drop kick would cause an accident where Eugene would end up injuring his ankle. I don't know if it was his left ankle or right ankle, but one of his ankles got injured during the drop kick. But somehow he kept fighting, and as it was with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Owen Hart in 1997, Eugene would roll Tyson up for a victory. And the thing you notice about this is this. During the match, during the Owen versus Austin match in SummerSlam 97, Stone Cold, after being dropped on his head, would break his neck. But continuing the fight, he would roll Owen Hart in a position that you can obviously tell years later Owen was sticking to the script rather, knowing that he could kick out of that move very easily. We see this with Eugene. Eugene hurt his ankle and injured his ankle. However, he was able to roll up Tyson, who could have easily moved his shoulder up but did not. But they did that to stick with the script. But it's almost like it wasn't sold enough that made it look like Owen could have easily got his shoulder up just like Tyson did. But it gave me a lot of vibes from Stone Cold versus Owen Hart. But nonetheless, Eugene and Regal retained the World Tag Team Championships despite Eugene's injury. That is not the only injury we would see that night. Moving on to the next match, we have Trish Stratus versus Leda. A month and some change removed after an amazing first ever, to my knowledge, women's main event match between Trish Stratus and Leda was legendary. And Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch on that same day on a Monday early last year tried to follow those footsteps. But they were the first to do it to my knowledge. And of course, that match would have Trish demanding a rematch. So the match would happen at New Year's Resolution, and we were expecting a great match. But as pointed out, they were hoping that Leda would be careful because Leda, during the legendary match, delivered a dive that could have easily given her a broken neck or injured her top torso area, considering the ugly landing during the dive. Either way, the match would happen and it started off very physical, but an accident would occur when Trish was on the outside and Lita was running off the apron to do some type of crossbody dive onto Trish. But that crossbody would end up injuring her left leg. And she landed on her left leg in a bad way, kind of like Seth did when he was doing what is called a sunset flip at a live event while fighting Kane. But either way, this was not a sunset flip, but it was a dive gone wrong, and Lita hurt her leg. And during the later part of that match, Trish tried to take control, and she would target Lita's left leg, and Lita would try to fight back and do the twist of fate, but her leg buckled, and she lost her strength, giving Trish the chance to go for a chick kick and regain the women's championship. And all of this because of a move gone wrong. That's why they tell you, folks, don't try this mess at home. Because if they're professionals, but they get hurt. So please leave it to the professionals. Our next match did not have any injuries, but it was quite frankly kind of hilarious. We have Maven versus Shelton Benjamin, now part of the Hurt Business, for the Intercontinental Championship, which Shelton Benjamin was holding. So, the match started off with collar and elbow tie up and whatnot, and then fans, for some reason, got. Of course, Maven had somehow got heel at the time, but the fans started booing and chanting something against Maven. And I really got to learn Spanish, or somebody needs to tell me what the fans were chanting. So Maven, being aggravated, gets on the microphone, gets a chair to stand on, and tells the fans, I don't know what you're saying, and you're disrupting my concentration. So let me see if I can try this. What does Kaye Suspokas mean? Because I hope it doesn't mean anything profane because I don't swear on this channel. But either way, Maven said Kaye Suspokas. That was the best I could do. I know a little bit of Spanish. I know hola and I know cállate, which means be quiet or shut up in Spanish. I know that. And I know that thanks to Zelina Vega, or should I say Queen Zelina Vega. But either way, Maven starts saying that and telling fans to be quiet, and so fans continue booing him. He walks away saying, "You know what? I'm gonna fight you in the United States of America," which was supposed to insult Puerto Rico, who, fun fact or not, is now U.S. territory. Puerto Rico is now U.S. territory. I learned that when I went on a trip, vacation wise. But either way, Maven walks out, but almost got counted out. So he knew he had to get back in the ring and fight. And when he got back in the ring, he got rolled up. And instead of taking the loss, he demanded a rematch and then insulted Shelton Benjamin's manhood, saying that there are two women's champions and him and Trish have one thing in common. You got championships, but know something in Spanish. And I think that's a word that is very inappropriate to say that rhymes with walls. Either way, like I said, need to learn a little more Spanish. But either way, after running his mouth, the bell rings for a rematch, and Shelton T-bone suplexes Maven for the finisher. 1, 2, 3, and Shelton wins, putting a quick hurt on Maven. So, moving on, Maven shouldn't have ran his mouth. But congratulations on Shelton for retaining the championship. And I forgot to mention how the fans in English were singing na 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 hey 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 goodbye in English to Maven. But now let's get to Kane versus Jean Snitzke. Jean Snitzke came on the scene with a little bit of a storyline of Leda losing her baby because of an accident which involved Jean Snitzke. And that's when Jean Foot Loving Snitsky would develop the tagline, "It wasn't my fault." It kind of was. So, before he really developed his foot loving discoveries of himself, Gene Snitsky and Kane would fight off. And ironically, this happened right around the same time that the gimmick of Heidenreich would try to make a name for himself on SmackDown against Kane's brother, The Undertaker. I would have loved to see Gene Snitsky and Heidenreich face off against the Brothers of Destruction. But we saw a piece of that at the Royal Rumble, which I might or might not review. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But I'm considering reviewing Royal Rumble 2005. But either way, Gene Snitsky and Kane would face off in what was seemingly an even affair. But due to Gene Snitsky's big boot countering Kane's flying clothesline, Gene took a little bit of control. But Gene would get a boot of his own. Of course, it's ironic for a guy who is quite the foot lover. Um, let's keep this PG. But either way, the foot loving Gene Snitsky would get a boot to the chin after attempting to hit Kane with a chair. And then things would get even. But the funniest thing happened. Gene Snitsky would take a page out of Mike Tyson's playbook, biting Kane or attempting to bite Kane's ear off, just like Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear. But I never saw that clip, but I always heard about it. I gotta look that clip up once I'm done reviewing this. But either way, Gene took a page out of Tyson's playbook, and it only angered Kane as he went for the Tombstone Piledriver, defeating Gene Snitsky. Our main event of that night would feature an Elimination Chamber match between Edge, Benoit, Chris Jericho, Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton, with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee for this demonic structure known as the Elimination Chamber. And this was before everyone got the paddings, making it easy for the wrestlers of the PG era to wrestle in. This match was all steel. The early stages of the PG era had the steel on it, but my point, moving on. Due to Chris Benoit's involvement in this match, this is the only Elimination Chamber match that is erased from WWE history because of his involvement, because of what he did in the summer of 2007, unfortunately. However, it was still one of my favorite Elimination Chamber matches so far. It started with Benoit and Jericho, and those two have an amazing rivalry, especially in the early 2000s, in the 2000s. So that was great to see those two compete. And in my personal opinion, Benoit's chops hurt a lot more than Ric Flair because we can hear it all the way up and outside of the arena. But those two faced off until Triple H came in third, as fans counted in Spanish. Triple H came in and took down both Chris Jericho and Benoit. Shortly after being in the match, he would draw Chris Benoit's blood using the steel cage, or the chamber, should I say, to help him. And later on, fourth, we would see Edge come in and do standing spears on the corners to everyone. And then he would catapult both Chris Jericho and Triple H. Triple H would bleed from the top of his nose while Chris Jericho would be busted open completely. At number 5, Randy Orton would come into the match and attack Edge and then go after Triple H, and those two would fight. And as Edge aimed for Randy Orton to spear, he would accidentally spear Shawn Michaels, but then go on to spear Randy Orton. But he couldn't get the 3 count because Shawn Michaels, the special guest referee, was accidentally taken out by the spear. So with physical and verbal aggression, Shawn Michaels would be awakened by Edge. And due to Shawn Michaels' aggravation, HBK would give Edge the sweet chin music, and Chris Jericho would follow up with a moonsault, which would eliminate the Rated R Superstar. The Rated R Superstar would be the first person to be eliminated. And also, we have Triple H here's a big highlight of tonight. Triple H would get 3 German suplex by Chris Benoit, the original suplex mayor. And in a highlight of the night, Chris Benoit would go for a flying headbutt from the top of the pod onto Triple H. Benoit would go on to have Triple H in the crossface while Jericho had him in the walls of Jericho, just like they did to Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2001. However, Triple H held on and wouldn't tap out until the final competitor, Batista, who received a great ovation from the fans, as did Orton, Benoit, and Triple H. Triple H got a big ovation as well. But either way, during the match, Batista would come out as the last entry for beating the clock on Raw. He would come out to rescue Triple H and wipe everybody out before having a stare down with the Game. And the stare down was broken up. As it was in 1997, we learned that not even a cameraman is safe inside the Elimination Chamber, as Batista threw Chris Jericho unintentionally onto the cameraman, taking him down. Chris Benoit would be eliminated by Batista during a spinebuster, with Chris Jericho being spinebustered on top of Chris Benoit as a spinebuster sandwich. Chris Benoit would be eliminated, and then Jericho would be eliminated by a Batista bomb, which would leave Randy Orton, Triple H, and Batista. Batista and Triple H still being Evolution allies, and Randy Orton being the guy they threw out. So they would double team him, and Triple H would draw Randy Orton's blood on the outside of the chamber pod. And during the latter part of the match, Randy Orton somehow fought back and delivered a low blow to Batista in an RKO to eliminate Batista, and Triple H didn't break it up. During the process of which Batista was supposed to exit and they were getting help for the cameraman also, Ric Flair would get in and Shawn Michaels would use his authority physically to get the Nature Boy out. So, during that time, with the referee's back turned, Batista attacked Orton, and Randy Orton looked like he had a wedgie as Triple H went for the pedigree, and the vacated World Heavyweight Championship was back in the hands of Triple H for the 10th time as Batista hoisted Triple H over his shoulders, celebrating Triple H's win of the Elimination Chamber. What do you think about New Year's resolution? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to give it the thumbs up, share with your friends, comment, and subscribe so we can all continue to grow this channel and be entertained by the most electrifying reviewer in all of YouTube. Just kidding. But who knows? Maybe I'll be that someday. But that's all the time I got for you today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again for another review. Peace.